I want to experience life, its beautiful moments, and everything it has to offer before I leave. Because I know once I'm gone, there's no coming back. So I have a plan to travel the world. And on March 28th, I decided to board a plane with my buddy Kyle and go straight to Costa Rica.
That's the video. I YouTube.
Sadly, I didn't get a clip of everything we did, but here's a small preview of how it went. A little backstory for you to understand how stupid this is. We're both 19 years old. We don't have much money saved up.
I was like, oh, she's exaggerating, but that
I swear to God, it says negative 49 billion.
I know.
What do I do?
I don't know.
Negative 49 billion.
And we're about to transfer to university next semester. So there's a chance we're gonna need that money a lot more in the future than we need it right now. This is also the first time that either of us have traveled outside of the country without our parents, or inside the country for that matter. And the minimum age to rent a car in most countries, that includes Costa Rica, is 21 years old. That's the minimum. Again, we're 19. We didn't realize this until we got to Costa Rica. So picture that. So what do? We found the only company in Costa Rica that will rent us a car, and we were on our way for a trip to Costa Rica. Now before I start the trip, regardless of how stupid this trip might have been due to the circumstances and where we stand in life right now, I just want to say that I will never regret this trip. And I look forward to having more trips like this, and I hope eventually you guys have trips like this too. Because isn't this what life is all about? Living life and every beautiful thing it has to offer? I will touch more on that at the end of the video, but saying that, this is how our trip to Costa Rica went. Day 1, the most exciting and exhausting part of the trip. This was so exciting. Just landed at 10 p.m., ready to get the car we rented, get to the Airbnb, and rest up for the following day where the adventure really starts. Till we realized the car we rented online, we weren't able to drive. Because if you are not a resident of that country, you are going to need to purchase a third-party liability waiver in order to drive in that country. And I can bet that most people who already traveled know this, and if you don't, then please do. But this being our first time traveling alone, well, we had no idea. One thing led to another, and
Full coverage, scratches, third-party collisions.
Exactly.
2 hours later, with an extra $400 paid than we originally thought we were gonna pay, we finally got a fucking car. But we're not too mad because bear in mind, we did get full coverage. It was 12 a.m. at midnight in Costa Rica. And this was the only company that would give us a car since we're 19. So maybe instead of bitching, I should be pretty grateful because we got lucky to get a car. Because if we didn't get a car, then God knows how this trip would have gone. But the point is we got a fucking car. We're happy about that. We just wanted to get to the Airbnb. So not only was this our first time being alone outside of a country, but our first time driving in another country.
No, if you just hit them, just keep going. There's no cameras.
Holy shit, I've been going way too fast this whole time. Shit on the floor says 25 kilometers per hour. Even this right here is 37.
And apparently Google Maps doesn't work in Costa Rica, so we had to use an app called Waze to get us to places. So now we have two 19-year-olds renting a car at 12 a.m., trying to find an Airbnb using an app that we've never used before, all at the capital of Costa Rica, which is San Jose. Also, while being hungry since we haven't ate since we got on the airplane, which was about a 6-hour flight. One thing led to another, and
straight out of the gasoline station.
Can I just say no hate on that wrap? That shit actually smacked. Oh my god. Maybe it's because I haven't ate for like 8 hours, but fuck, that shit was good. Finally falling asleep at 1:30 a.m. in the Airbnb, we gotta rest a bit to start our first real day in Costa Rica.
Day 1, right?
Day 2, we already had a booking at a national park, which was at 8 a.m. and our Airbnb was about 45 minutes away from the national park. So we woke up at about 6:30 a.m. Costa Rica time, which is 5:30 a.m. my time, and with a solid 4 hours of sleep, we were on our way to start the day.
I think they're the guys that open it.
Yeah, these are definitely the guys that open it. Hola, buenas.
We came to this national park called Volcan Puaz, and can I just say this was absolutely breathtaking. After Volcan Puaz, we ended up on a little hike in the national park, and the trail was absolutely beautiful. Easily the most beautiful trail I've ever hiked. And this was just the start of what Costa Rica has to offer in its beautiful biodiversity. So we went on this hike and we met some guy who apparently illegally jumped the fence to get into the national park. We talked to him and we found out that he's German, but has been living in Costa Rica for about 2 months now. He talked to us about how he travels the world. He even showed pictures for proof. And he tells us that he lives in his tent and he gets around by hitchhiking to places.
You going to Philly? Yeah. Can we get a ride? Yeah. Hell yeah!
He asked us if we can take him a couple kilometers down the mountain with us to his tent. And like the intelligent 19-year-olds we are, we took him with us. We all ended up eating at a restaurant together. We ate a classic Costa Rican dish called a casado. And full disclosure, not gonna lie, Costa Rica was absolutely beautiful. But in my opinion, the food wasn't anything spectacular, to be honest with you. No offense to any Costa Rican, but it was alright. Except for this little fruit called the granadilla.
That's what you eat. It looks like spider eggs, but like eat it, it's so good.
Fucking amazing. You have to try it eventually. From there, we drove to a beautiful little town called La Fortuna. Although before getting there, we did have to drive about 4 hours and we did make a little friend. Wasn't a hitchhiker this time though. We honestly had no idea what animal this was called.
It's not like sharp claws, so it has to be an anteater, right?
Do anteaters have one? I don't know, man. Looking a little cute though.
But we decided to name him Armand and we took him along with us. Okay, sadly we didn't take him with us for pretty obvious reasons, but we did give him some food to munch on. After our little sidetrack of meeting our buddy Armand, we headed over to La Fortuna. This little town was so beautiful, I don't even know where to start. And this little town is where we stayed for the rest of the trip. And we did absolutely everything we wanted to do in Costa Rica.
I'm low-key just vibing this guy, bro. Like, oh my god, I'm gonna be you.
We found a guy who had all the activities we wanted to do, so we met up with him and that's where we booked all the days to come. We planned the next day in order to see La Fortuna waterfalls, ziplining, and going on hanging bridges in the middle of the forest, which, if you go to Costa Rica, in my opinion, you have to do. So the night was winding down, so we drove to the Airbnb where there was no warm shower. So we took our freezing shower and rested up for the next day. FYI, taking warm showers is an absolute privilege. Oh my god, I was so grateful to come home just to take a warm shower. I don't know how to describe it. And also to finally be on my bed. Anyways, before we went to sleep, we ended up watching a movie called Whiplash, because why not? We can.
I'd rather die drunk, broke at 34 and have people at a dinner table talk about me than live to be rich and sober at 90 and nobody remember who I was.
I got a reply for you, Andrew. You think Carlton football's a joke? Come play with us.
4 words you will never hear from the NFL.
Then we headed to bed and prepared ourselves for the next day. Day 3. Finally. A day where we knew exactly what we were going to do and exactly how it's going to go down. These past 2 days was more of just getting lost in Costa Rica.
What does seda mean? Probably means like yield, I don't know.
Literally, we got lost. One time we put the location to the Airbnb and it ended up being wrong, so we actually got lost in Costa Rica one of the times. We of course had an itinerary planned before leaving for the trip, but ever since the Costa Rica trip started on day 1, we kind of just said, yeah, this isn't really gonna go as we expected. But this was our first real day of not only following the itinerary, but of knowing exactly what it is that we were gonna do. Which sounds kind of sad, but it's also really exciting. So we wake up and headed out to meet the guy that we booked everything with. And we got picked up and driven to our first destination. We ended up on a tractor that ended up taking us to where we needed to go, which was pretty fun, but kind of weird too. We finally get there. We have 2 places to go, either the swimming pools or the lookout point. We first see the swimming pools since we assumed that the lookout point was gonna be the best, so we wanted to save the best for last, obviously. So we got to the swimming pools and the water was absolutely fucking freezing. I have no clue how people are in that water. It doesn't make sense to me. After the swimming pools, we made it to the lookout point, and oh my god, this was actually breathtaking to see. Hands down, one of the most beautiful things I've seen in my life, and to me personally, one of the best activities we did on this trip.
We knew it was us. We're done. Oh, we left our mark in Costa Rica, man. We just committed a crime. We're illegal now.
After that view, we went ziplining, and sadly, I don't have any clips of ziplining because ain't no way I'm gonna lose this fucking camera or my phone when I'm ziplining. It's not too much of an expensive camera, but shit, it's all I got. I just had this one video that my buddy Kyle took of me. But here's some real footage from others of what it looked like ziplining in Costa Rica. Beautiful views above the rainforest. You'll never see this anywhere else in my honest opinion. After the ziplining, we went to the hanging bridges and holy shit. I don't know how many times I said it, but oh my god, Costa Rica is so beautiful. I apologize that my camera work is shitty. You can clearly see I'm new to this, so bear with me. But it was absolutely astonishing and the hanging bridges were incredible to walk on, and being able to see the rainforest from the bridges was absolutely surreal.
Let me get the lens flare. Ooh. My death wish is calling me.
Once the hanging bridges was over, we came back to La Fortuna and drove back to the Airbnb. And we just relaxed for the rest of the night. We had dinner at the Airbnb and we cooked our own food, especially because it was getting expensive. Then we talked for a bit, then we started watching The Hunger Games. Because again, why not?
I volunteer as tribute.
Then once the movie ended, we took our amazing cold shower. Then headed off to bed where we had absolutely no plans for the next day other than our itinerary. But we were just living in the moment at this point. So whatever happens, you know we're gonna have a pretty good time.
You motherfucker.
Day 4. As you can tell, I'm recording on a new day because I got sleepy, so I went to sleep. But now we're on day 4. And day 4 was supposed to be our rest day since, trust me, we felt absolutely exhausted from the days before. We walked like about 20,000 steps. For perspective, there's about 2,000 steps in every single mile. So we walked around 10 miles for that day. Fun, right? So we planned to wake up later that day, but knowing myself, I'll wake up at the same time no matter what, which is fucking amazing. So I wake up at 6:30 a.m. for whatever the reason and get another solid 5 hours worth of sleep max, like every single other night. So we just ate breakfast at the Airbnb and we headed over to La Fortuna again where we met up with the same guy in order to get more bookings. And we booked an ATV adventure, and can I just say this did not disappoint the slightest bit. Warning, if you ever go ATV riding in Costa Rica, please take shoes you don't give a fuck about.
You get muddy?
Yeah? Dude, my shoe, like my sock feels disgusting. Shit's moist as fuck.
It's a lovely feeling having your shoes and your socks soaked full of mud and dirt. I think you can imagine. All jokes aside though, it was so fun and the views were absolutely incredible. Obviously not even including talking about the actual ATV driving, which is actually so much more fun than I expected it to be. We got to see some of the real neighborhoods in Costa Rica, and we got to see how residents of Costa Rica actually live and how the schools were. These neighborhoods were absolutely beautiful. I wish I had more clips of my own, but I can't really record the ATVs as I drive. We had these amazing views of Volcán Arenal at the top of this hill we went to on the ATVs. Then we stopped on this type of lake or creek, but it was so amazing. Just look at these views. Again, don't mind the camera work, I promise. The more I create, the better I'm gonna get at it, please. Once that ended, we went back to the Airbnb to cook some dinner, and we decided to watch The Hunger Games Catching Fire.
3, 2, 1.
Since we thought, fuck it, why not? We already started the first movie, might as well watch the entire series. Once the movie ended, we again headed off to bed. This time, though, we had the next day all set for us. We had prepared a hike to Volcán Arenal, as well as a nocturno walk, which was a walk in the nighttime. Nocturno. There we go. This was so exciting for me personally because I absolutely love nature. I'm always going on hikes. Which might have been why I love this trip so much, because Costa Rica is completely about its nature. Day 5. Running on about a solid 5 hours of sleep a night, we're now going to the Volcán Arenal hike. But regardless of how exhausted I am, I'm ready for this shit. We get picked up again and get taken to the start of the hike where we finally commence the ascent. The hike was absolutely beautiful. I can't even describe how beautiful it was. But we finally got to the top after trekking for what felt like hours. Even though it was like 40 minutes, but we're just mad tired. And the view of the volcán was amazing. Even though we got unlucky that day. And there was fog that was covering the tip of the volcano. Pause. Regardless of the fog, just look at how close the volcano was to us. It felt as if it was so close even though it was obviously farther. Since it is indeed an active volcano. Meaning technically it could have literally... But it's okay, because according to the guide and some scientists, the volcano erupts every 350 years. So the next eruption is something our great-grandkids have to worry about, not us. Plus, according to the guide also, I signed a waiver saying that if I die, it's okay, so it's not a big deal, right? But anyways, once we got to the top, we stayed there for about 30 minutes and then we started hiking back down. And then they gave us lunch, which was their classic Costa Rican dish, which was again literally rice, beans, chicken, and a small green salad. Now I want to make this clear, I love beans, rice, chicken, and a small green salad. But fuck, that's already what I eat every day. So you know, when I go to new countries, I like to try more authentic, more different type of food, but when it's the exact same thing I eat every day, then damn. Anyways, once we finished our lunch, we headed back to La Fortuna, where we walked around for a bit and ran a few errands. My buddy Kyle actually bought his girlfriend a silver necklace with the most beautiful gem in the middle. Oh my god. It was honestly so cute. I just wanted to kill myself. After the errands that we ran, we headed to the nocturno walk. Bro, I don't know if it's because I'm sick or because I can't pronounce this shit. Nighttime walk, we're just gonna call it that from now on. But anyways, the nighttime walk felt absolutely surreal. Like I was a fucking caveman or something. But in a good way though, in a good way. Like Flintstones type of thing, right?
Her measurements are 45, 23, 34.
That's some girl, all right.
It was just 5 of us in the dark with these little flashlights in a little park that they have, which has all the animals in it.
Can I see the tarantula?
While we were there, we found these frogs, and oh my god.
Oh, it's so cute.
And look, one there.
Why did I not realize how cool frogs looked? I'm just saying, like, the only thing I know about them is that you can eat their legs. I don't know why I know that though. And no, I have not tried eating frog legs. Not yet, at least. Anyways, that's not what I'm thinking about while I'm looking at these frogs. But these frogs looked absolutely amazing. During the expedition, we also found some sloths, a butterfly, and this massive spider that the guy said was a tarantula.
Big spider over here.
Butterfly?
Like a really, really big one.
For butterfly?
Huh?
You said spider.
No, I did mean spider.
Oh.
Like on the trunk.
Oh shit! What the fuck?
But to be completely honest, I couldn't tell what the spider was. I was too busy shitting myself because that thing was fucking massive. Oh my god.
Oh, see? That's like a tarantula.
Oh, yeah.
We saw a few more frogs after.
It's like a last chance to see it. Maybe later it will be sleeping or no more blue jeans.
And sadly, the tour guy said that this wasn't the best expedition that he's been on. It was a very dry day, which meant not a lot of animals were going to come out. We were hoping to catch a snake.
Run.
And just maybe it was a good thing that we didn't see one though. Not even gonna lie though, I kind of wanted to see a snake. Gotta get the full Costa Rican experience, right? Now we got the full Costa Rican experience at the Airbnb when the first night I went into the bathroom, a cockroach came out as I was, I don't think I need to go further into that story. I killed it in such an uncomfortable way, but anyways, after that we drove back to the Airbnb, we had dinner, and then we fell asleep right away because we were absolutely drained. The plan was to watch The Hunger Games, The Mockingjay Part 1.
I've decided I'll be your Mockingjay.
But we were so drained that we just decided to make some dinner, shower, and then head off to bed. And get ready for our last day in Costa Rica. Day 6. Day 6 was our last day. I didn't end up recording much, but that's because I was mostly driving the whole time because I love my buddy Kyle, but oh my god, my man was my passenger princess at this whole time, I swear. Which wasn't a bad thing though, because he has a lot of good music that I honestly vibe with, so. You remind me of the girl that I got a bunch of new songs. I kind of liked driving. It was actually kind of fun to drive in Costa Rica. But for the first couple hours, we were packing and then we just drove to San Jose. And we spent the entire day in San Jose. But I had this planned a couple weeks before when we were planning the itinerary. But we went to San Jose and I actually got a tattoo. I plan on getting a tattoo in every single country I go to. At least every Latin country I go to. There's just too many countries in this world for me to get a tattoo everywhere in my body. But I got a tattoo in San Jose, Costa Rica. And I only have these 2 videos, but I hope you can see in my face that I'm focusing so hard on not feeling the pain. Shit was in such a tender spot too, like holy shit. I did not think it was gonna be that painful. I was clearly wrong. But I'm so damn happy that it turned out to look like this. It's kind of peeling right now, but doesn't not low-key look kind of dope? Like come on, let's be honest. I'm pretty happy about this shit. Cost me $270, which sounds like a lot, but for a tattoo this size, that's not fucking bad at all. I also ended up getting the shirt, which looks kind of dope in my opinion. Tell me it doesn't look low-key kind of dope, like come on. I wasn't even gonna get it, but then at the bottom, my homie Kyle pointed out that it says, even kings fall. And that sold it right there for me, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Now it's mine. So I got the tattoo and it only took me about 40 minutes, so we still had about a solid 12 hours until our plane left. So basically we had absolutely no plan on what we were going to do inside of San Jose in Costa Rica except for getting this tattoo. But we decided to drive around a bit in San Jose since the airport was right there already and kind of just get lost a bit. And we were at the airport a solid 7 hours early before our flight. So for the next 7 hours we just decided to just explore the airport for a bit because that's all we can do. But I did get this little pin from the airport. Like look at this little cutie. It's literally just like a little parrot going like this and saying Costa Rica, man. I love this thing. Oh my god. Right next to my little monkey from Dominican Republic, and also right next to my little keychain from Mexico actually. So that's lovely. I got it because it's not only going to remind me of the Costa Rica trip, obviously other than this fucking tattoo, but more than anything it's going to remind me of the saying that they say in Costa Rica. If you ever travel to Costa Rica, you're going to hear the saying pura vida, which literally translates to pure life or simple life. But what's awesome is pura vida is literally like a way of life for them. Pura vida to them means being thankful for what they have and not dwelling on all the negativity in this life. I got that from a website, so I'm gonna use that. It's a beautiful way to see life, and I really hope that most people can pick up from what Costa Rica lives by. But after the pin, we just decided to sit down and eat, and we still had a solid 4 hours till after that. So we decided to sit down and watch The Hunger Games, The Mockingjay Part 1.
That's it. That's her. Right there.
Because fuck it, we got 4 hours to kill. So we watched it until we boarded our plane, and we also played a bit of Game Pigeon too, because we could. After the plane took off, I can't really tell you much because I was dead asleep because the plane left like at 12 a.m. at midnight. Although, you know, I did wake up like a solid 47 times and got maybe at max 3-4 hours worth of sleep that night. With the amount of exhaustion I was in at that moment, it officially ended our trip from Costa Rica. Woo! I just want to come back and touch on what I said at the start of the video, Because isn't this what life is all about? Living life and every beautiful thing it has to offer? I realized that Costa Rica wasn't just a little vacation that I went on and then came back to my normal life. It made me realize that there's so much that life not only has to offer, but there's so much in life that we have to discover. And when I say discover, I'm not just talking about discovering the world. I'm talking about discovering ourselves, who we are, who we love, what our goals are in life. Like I said, once I'm gone, I'm never coming back. I love this saying that goes, one day your life will flash before your eyes. Make sure it's worth watching. I want to live the best human experience that I can possibly live. I'm learning that life is exactly what you make it. Nobody has control over that except for you. And that is one of the very few things in life that we have control over. So maybe it's time to actually take control over it. So I promised myself that even though in the past, I haven't done everything in my power to live my life, especially those times where I just played video games, I stayed at home, I watched videos when I could have been out living my life. From here on out, I'm gonna make sure it's worth watching. So thank you for clicking on this video. I hope I can not only share a little bit about my trip and my experience, but a little about me too. And thank you for sharing a little bit of time that you have on this planet with me. Now let's make it worth watching. Bye. Peace. God, I'm gonna try with this video. I hope it came out good. Guess I can't beat myself up for learning. Right? Right.